ITTF Seamaster 2017 World Tour Hungarian Open, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, and we are getting into the women's doubles final. Today is the final day of competition. You will only see final matches, starting with the women's doubles, moving on to the men's doubles. You see the fans here getting ready. After that will be the women's singles and the men's singles finals. But here, CHEN Xingtong and Jiayi, young players from China, and their opponents from Sweden, Matilda EKHOLM, the left-handed doubles specialist, and the pride of Hungary, Georgina POTA, playing yesterday in front of the crowd. Very exciting combination here. The Europeans quite strong in doubles. Umpire for the match, Wladenka Chesnik from Croatia, assistant umpire. Ilya Ransberger, also from Croatia. Right now, we are going to have everybody in the arena stand for 30 seconds of silence in memory of the at least 16 people who died in a recent tragic bus crash here in Hungary. Students, teachers, staff.
A fiatal életek, a gyermekek elvesztése a legnagyobb csapás. A gyász felfoghatatlan pillanataiban a tragédiával sújtott családok, barátok mellett vagyunk. Kérem önöket, emlékek előtt tisztelegjünk. On Friday night, at least 16 people, including students and teachers, lost their lives in a tragic bus accident near to Varna. Losing your lives and our children is always the hardest disaster for every family, community, and nation. In the horrible moments of sorrow, our prayers are with the families and friends affected by this tragedy. We would like to ask you all to stand up and commemorate by a moment of silence in honor of their memories. Köszönjük szépen. Thank you.
So after tough news, 30 seconds of silence in honor of those lost here in Hungary. We move on to celebrate the sport we love with the best players around the world. Here we've got the European pair who've played quite well throughout the year together. Matilda EKHOLM and Georgina POTA versus lesser seeds, unseeded actually, CHEN Xingtong of China and Jiayi. Not having a seed, CHEN Xingtong will be playing later today in the women's singles final. She's only 19 years old, the 14th seed in singles, and world rank number 62. Jiayi on the other, her teammate on the other hand, 104th seed in this tournament, was world rank number 102 in February of 2014. Is 23 years old. There's Peter Teglas, longtime Hungarian coach who's worked with Georgina POTA and also Matilda EKHOLM when necessary for the European competitions where they played in doubles together. Matilda and Georgina are the second seed together. Georgina POTA, 32 years old, world rank number 34, 5th seed in this tournament. Matilda EKHOLM, 34 years old, number 35 in the world currently, and the 6th seed in this tournament. Now, Matilda EKHOLM's game is quite spectacular and a bit unusual. From her tricky services to her outstanding touch, she had a roller around the net this tournament. From lobbing, chopping, a bit creative, a bit outside of the box as far as thoughts and tactics go. Georgina POTA manages to get a lot of balls back on the table. Saw her yesterday taking it early off the bounce, playing wide angles. So now we will determine who serves and where the players stand. Now, by the way, before we get into this match, you want to make sure you're kept up to date, up to speed in what's happening in the table tennis world. Go to ITTF.com. Don't forget to like the Facebook page for International Table Tennis Federation. Instagram has some exciting stuff as well. ITTF, the International Table Tennis
Feleségem
Federation.
szeretném megkérni önöket,
From fun
hogyha
pictures to
fényképet
exciting
vegynek,
videos,
mellézzék a
weddings,
valószínűleg.
news, all sorts of excitement about your favorite
Please don't
table
use
tennis
flash
celebrities.
while photographing. Thank you.
So at the World Tour Grand Finals, doubles was played best of 7 games, but on the World Tour it's typically best of 5. This will be a best of 5 match. For those of you a little bit newer to table tennis, doubles you must alternate shots. Serve must be cross court from the right side of the table to the opponent's right side of the table. It's always interesting to see how players work together in doubles for that reason, the alternating shots requirement. Typically, the right-handed and left-handed team having that combination is to your advantage. Players have a little easier time getting in and out of play. 2 forehands in a row is much easier to accommodate. The middle of the table is more covered by the forehands. There's CHEN Xingtong. So the young Chinese pair, both right-handed players, but the standard of play in China, of course, best in the world. Yan Sen, Olympic gold medalist for doubles in 2000 with Wang Liqin, will be in the corner for the Chinese pair.
First game, we need to serve love all.
So despite the seeding, I think this will be an uphill battle for Matilda EKHOLM and Georgina POTA, but they're going to have the home crowd support. Georgina POTA, again, pride of Hungary. Deep push to start it off from EKHOLM, but a quick adjustment. CHEN Xingtong turning the corner for the forehand. So it looks like it's coming a little bit longer. EKHOLM sets up for the attack, but is jammed up at the back edge of the table. Beautiful play right off the bounce. This is what POTA's best at, smothering the ball, taking it early, redirecting, playing wide angles. Good opportunity. We'll see some openings here like this with the 2 right-handed players moving out to their forehand side. Still the pressure on EKHOLM to make that loop to the parallel short side of the table. Just a bit too much on that ball.
4-1.
EKHOLM seems to still be settling into her game right now. Usually she'll make a higher percentage of these counter attacks and loops.
1-5.
We've seen a few creative attempts from EKHOLM. Bit of side spin from that backhand shot, but still low percentage coming in right now for her. Interesting choice from the start of this point. The right and left-handed players switched it up. So you've got POTA serving from the backhand. EKHOLM now waiting for a forehand attack.
7-1.
Right now, the Jiayi loops are just too much. Again, in this combination, it's tough to know how much of it has to do with the opponent that's hitting into EKHOLM. Good placement on the push, deep push out to the forehand side. Now, the fast feet of both of the young Chinese players is what's giving them such solid shots on the forehand side. They're not easy balls. They've been on the move. They've been placed in different spots. We've seen it deep to the backhand, out wide to the forehand.
2-9.
Reverse pendulum does not phase CHEN Xingtong. Second bounce on the table. This is how a half-long serve goes, outright point. And again, anytime you can get the receiver to hesitate like that, they think they know what's going to happen and find out they're second-guessing themselves. Sometimes you'll get the point outright. Sometimes you'll just earn yourself a third ball attack. And if I had to guess what that means, EKHOLM saying, finally, the shot goes in. Down the line, able to sort of connect here. But despite getting the one before, the percentages are still quite low right now. EKHOLM, we'll see again how much of it has to do with who's hitting into her. POTA serving from the backhand was trouble last time. And game one, 11-4, a quick game for the young Chinese pair. We'll see what happens when they switch their order of hitting. Game two will mix it up a little bit, coming back right after this.
Time.
Back for game number two. Now they're going to switch up the order of who's playing to whom. So Matilda EKHOLM choosing the serve. First two games, serving team is allowed to choose who will serve.
Last one.
Quality block there. Heavy loop coming in, but EKHOLM staying closed on top of the ball. You'll have a chance to see CHEN Xingtong later on today, but the racket speed she generates is so impressive. Very quick, very mobile.
2-1.
EKHOLM still trying to calibrate, zero in, keep the weight forward, and stay on top of the heavy topspin shots. POTA hanging in there for a big shot down the middle. Chinese fans taking pictures of the cameramen. Surprise long push. EKHOLM not showing that she was going to go deep until the moment she contacts the ball, just right before. Accelerates and keeps it right at the baseline. There it is. Backhand right into the body. EKHOLM pulling back and grunting through to finish that point. So far, the European pair equaling their score from game one while holding their opponent to 2 points rather than 11. Look at this. Cakewalk for EKHOLM, just calmly banana flicks it out to the side. Little wide Chiquita there. Now it's frustrating to miss shots, but from a decision standpoint, EKHOLM watched that ball come off the table. I think she's playing aggressively. It's a smart way to go. Especially in doubles, you have half of the table to work with as a receiver. Much better quality points. EKHOLM getting 2 of them back here. One backhand punch. Now notice that the doubles partners, they're always sort of getting back into position, ready for every shot. Even there, the ball doesn't come down, but EKHOLM's setting up to cover the wide angle just in case. So 3 out of the last 4 points have gone to the young Chinese pair. Quality push from POTA sets up EKHOLM for the inside-out forehand. Now, if you're a little bit newer to table tennis, before the point starts, you'll be seeing some signaling. Again, as a left-handed player, I'll tell you about the signaling in a moment. Left-handed players have the opportunity to play the inside-out forehand wide. It's a shot that's a little bit less familiar for the right-handed player, just because the angle is opposite coming from a forehand, typically anyway. Now, I haven't been keeping track on paper, but it seems like that setup, we got a timeout here, the setup where POTA serves from her backhand, setting up EKHOLM for the follow-up backhand shot, just puts too much pressure on themselves to get back into position. Again, a right and left-handed player can be set up for the forehand. So let's see what Peter Teglas is saying right now to EKHOLM, also POTA. Seemed like there was some conversation about the setup with the push game of EKHOLM. EKHOLM's been looking for aggressive shots, whether it's a touch shot over the table or a deep push into the backhand. Deep push anywhere, as long as it's not too predictable, can set POTA up with a more predictable loop. Back in the day when I was playing doubles with a much stronger player, he would say, whatever you do, just push it deep. He knew he could take the next ball. So if you have a player who's very confident in the fast counter game, a deep push can set them up, just give them a little bit more time, a little bit more length on the next shot, more predictability on the angle. So we'll see if that's what the doctor ordered here, if that's what Peter Teglas gave to the European pair.
6, 7.
POTA looks like she's going to be serving from the backhand again. The rally extends this time. A few more shots come into play, some opportunities. But the young Chinese pair continue their streak. Again, they were down 2-4. But no more. They're in the lead, 8-6 with their serves.
9, 6.
EKHOLM was asking, did that hit the edge? Did that catch the edge of the table?
6, 10.
Chinese pair saying no, it did not. 4 game points for the young Chinese pair. Even jammed up with the teammate next to her, CHEN Xingtong is able to come across and make this hooking loop shot from the forehand. Absolute dominance here in game 2 despite a slow start. It's a 2-0 lead for the young Chinese pair, and we'll be back for game 3 right after this. for game number 3. Chinese pair leading 2-0 in this best of 5. 1 game away from championship title. So we've got Jiayi with the serve, EKHOLM on the receive. This is the same patient eye that had trouble before, but connecting here with that forehand loop, EKHOLM steals the first point. You can see the frustration from EKHOLM after such a quality receive, a deep push to get the opponent running that far off the table. CHEN Xingtong still again on the run, fast feet, spinny loop. Looking for answers, but just having trouble finding them right now. The flip game from POTA. A serve that might have deceived others. Again, EKHOLM serves very tricky. No timeouts left for the European pair. They tried in game 2 to save it. In a best of 5, you're going to see the timeouts a bit earlier, of course. This is the first spinny loop, real full swing forehand I recall seeing from POTA in quite some time. This is the more typical POTA, what she's known for, taking the ball early off the bounce, punching with the backhand. Difficult to take a ball that late from that deep on the table and try to keep it short. So again, fast feet, core strength, getting in early. It's going to give you the advantage in the short game for sure. A whole lot of risk from EKHOLM on the spinny backhand. Keeping it dead even here in the 3rd game. A little bit more pace on this forehand flip from POTA earns the point. Now on EKHOLM's serve, that pendulum, she's very subtle with her contact. A little bit of conversation here. I told you about signaling. Usually the servers are going to be signaling so that they say, hey, here's what you can expect for a 3rd ball, but the receivers as well. Beautiful punch, EKHOLM right down the line. Now, a receiver wants to tell teammate what they can expect so they know what the 4th ball is more likely to be. Look at the quality of this punch from EKHOLM, using her opponent's topspin wisely. Well placed in the middle, getting EKHOLM right in that forehand backhand zone where she has to make a choice. Speaking of choices, instead of going the length of the table, EKHOLM goes for the surprise, plays the short parallel shot with the forehand. And that ball's clearly long, so she's got time for a longer stroke to really set up and hit a winner. It's unfortunate for EKHOLM. Another clearly long ball. She has the time, but a much heavier push requires a little bit more lift. Still a 1-point lead for the European pair. Break off the top of the net, a little bit of side spin there in the touch play. Crowd really getting behind the European pair right now. Can hear them cheering on POTA. A big squatting to the ground shot from EKHOLM, full commitment, but still just a 1-point game. The Chinese pair right there just behind. Placement once again into the elbow of POTA. Slightly weaker shot, a little bit less confident. But it stays on their side of the net after the best exchange we've seen so far. The young Chinese pair will have the last 2 serves this game we'll see. In combination, that is. And at the 3rd towel break of the game, they take a moment to talk over their strategy. Crowd tries to pump up the European pair. And the serve is actually on the side of EKHOLM and POTA. Placed onto the body, POTA earns a game point. This is the point of the match so far. EKHOLM digging deep. Every player out there getting one more shot back, keeping the rally going, and it's a forehand loop from Matilda EKHOLM to take game 3. Hopes are still alive. The European pair come into game 4 with their first game this match so far. Game 4 coming up right after this. As the players come back for game 4, Georgina POTA on screen with Matilda EKHOLM now down 1-2.
EKHOLM to serve love all.
This combination of service with Matilda EKHOLM serving the pendulum serve sets up both players to have forehands right from the middle of the table, but it's been trouble again, forehand to forehand. It's too clean of a swing there. CHEN getting a big opening forehand into play. The attempted flip goes long, still not a point for EKHOLM and POTA in game 4. They've got no timeout left. going to have the crowd to lift them, and they're going to have to think creatively. Now, if you match up the players individually, skill set for skill set, the Europeans definitely have to think outside of the box. I think we saw a lot of that. Again, service change, placement, touch shots from over the table. Anything they can do to get the Chinese pair out of position. But it's going to take some pressure early in the point. Look at this shot from EKHOLM right at the back of the table on the line with heavy topspin. Let's see it one more time here. Barely comes off the table. Very difficult shot, and EKHOLM still just balanced, hopping around. EKHOLM's game is quite exciting to watch because you never really know what you're going to get, and she's capable of just about anything. I think the unpredictability factor makes it quite exciting. Well-placed serve right at the back edge of the table. We've seen EKHOLM make some big shots from there, but in the first game had some trouble with that placement. Two quick points for the Chinese pair on their serves.
Let 2-7.
Beautiful shot from way behind the table. EKHOLM grunting, getting up on one foot to counter that forehand. Thunder sticks a-clapping in the crowd. The inside-out ball from CHEN Xingtong. No problem for EKHOLM that time. A little bit of side spin. That ball comes back twice off the top of the net, but never comes down on the table. Sort of rolls across. Not sure if we'll have a chance to see it here. Boom, boom. Ooh. It's pretty rare to see. A touch, a little side spin from over the table with POTA's flip. What was once a 4-point deficit is now down to 2. Into the second towel break of the game, there's a timeout by Yan Sun. Again, Olympic gold medalist in doubles with Wang Liqin in the corner for these young women. Now this tournament, especially on the men's side, but I guess both sides, men's and women, the Chinese players that we've seen are not from the big four. They're not the most, other than Chun Meng on the women's side. It's sort of the second seeded, the second team, if you will. Still on the first team, the top 20 players in China. But it's, you know, outside of the big four, players that are testing for the opportunity to compete for the World Championships team, or for the World Championships rather, as it's singles this year in Dusseldorf. So we'll see a lot of excitement here in the singles as well. Both women's and men's will be two lesser-known Chinese players battling for an opportunity to represent their country in Dusseldorf. So I've heard that the last several days of the World Championships are already sold out in Dusseldorf. Hungary supporters, flags on cheek, hair on top lip, ready to see some Game 5 action here. Right now it's going to be up to Matilda EKHOLM and Georgina POTA to outthink and outplay
5-7.
their strong, fast opponents. Spinny backhand, just a 1-point game. Now this is one thing that EKHOLM has done very effectively throughout the match. Change of pace, hitting the spinnier balls Her backhand, again, very wristy. It's tough to read how much topspin is on it. There's a little bit of side spin as well. But not this time. A little bit softer. Enough time for an aggressive shot. Very difficult ball. Again, half long right at the baseline of the table. EKHOLM looking to steal to get the opening attack on the receive. And the push carries just wide. 4 championship points for Chun and Lee. Heavy underspin on the serve. EKHOLM's varied that up throughout. Ooh, a break off the top of the net. CHEN Xingtong doesn't miss that shot too often. Yan-Sen can't believe it. After the big topspin shot from EKHOLM from behind the table, seemed like the chance for the Europeans would be good. That's essentially a lob, except with less topspin. As it comes down, it doesn't kick away from the net. So that is definitely a break that EKHOLM and POTA are going to want to take advantage of here. 2 championship points saved, 2 left to go. And after all that work, some big loops. The swing from EKHOLM does not connect, and the young Chinese pair, CHEN Xingtong and Jiayi, are the champions for women's doubles at the 2017 Seamaster Hungarian Open. And what a performance it was. You'll have a chance to see them later on the podium. But fans on their feet, applause all around. And very grateful players thanking the crowd for the opportunity to play here. EKHOLM saying the same, and of course Georgina POTA thanking everyone for their support earlier on. Stick around, we've got the men's doubles finals coming up just a few minutes from now. You're watching the 2017 Seamaster Hungarian Open.